Hello and welcome again to VW Feasts. Today we're going to make pork gyoza. Yummy! You must have come across these before. They're beautiful little parcels of goodness with multiple different ingredients. As you can see, we've got various different flavorings, texturings and fillings, and all combined to give you little parcels of joy. For today, the main feature is going to be pork mince, but you can just as easily make them with shrimp or even vegetarian fillings. What's crucial though is that you actually have the right wrapping, and what we've done today is we've got proper gyoza skins. We found these in the freezer department of our local shop. Put the VW into turbocharge and she's going to combine the ingredients. You obviously don't want to overwork these. You don't want to use a food processor, otherwise you end up with a real homogeneous filling, which doesn't give you the same wonder as this more roughly combined, where each bite is a slightly different flavour. In our recipe we've used quite a lot of chilies, but obviously you can dial that down if that's not your thing. Having prepared the filling, we then fill the shells. For each of them, paint around the outside with a little bit of water to help it stick. Take a spoonful of filling. Be generous. And then what we want to do is to seal, making sure there's no air in it and that it's fully sealed. The way we cook these, we don't want water getting in, we don't want filling getting out. So spend a bit of time crimping. It doesn't just give you a prettiness, but it also makes it far better to cook. And in case you didn't see it the first time round, let's do it another time. Bit of water around the edge. In goes the filling, and then seal. We always thought that gyoza were Japanese. We'd had them in Japanese restaurants in the UK and in Japan. And though gyoza are, their origins of course are Chinese. In the US they've evolved into pot stickers, and in Japan into gyoza. But the humble dumpling was of course a Chinese gift to the world. With any dumpling you want to have a dipping sauce, and so we're making our own. As you can see, the ingredients in front of you, and one substitution we've done. Our original recipe calls for malt vinegar, which in the UK is readily available to splash on your chips, but here we're having to make do with red wine vinegar. And then it's just a question of simply combining all those elements into a beautiful dipping sauce. Again, you can experiment with the amount of heat in this. We like ours spicy. Remember to balance any heat with sugar. Mix it all together and you'll see you're left with a very watery but really beautiful dipping sauce. So pour that back into ready to use it, and make sure we get every single last bit of chilli. We do like ours really quite hot. There you go. And now to cook. Two parts to the cooking process. The first is a shallow fry, and what this does is not to cook the inside, but just to crisp up that skin slightly. That gives you another extra lovely texture as you bite into it. The final bit of cooking is going to be done by steaming. So into our frying pan we layer our gyoza. Now we're cooking quite a few at once because we're hungry, but a portion size usually about 3 per person is a nice taste. So just making sure those are cooking through nicely. In fact, in Japan once we were just walking through Kanazawa and we saw someone making these on the street. And that's how we chose our restaurant. Yes, we followed him back into the restaurant and said, we want some of those. We really do love them, and the kids love them too. So, if you're watching, this is how you make them, kids. You could make them for us. So once again, we're just trying to get that outside slightly crispy. Just enhances the flavour. See, beautifully browning up there. So we'll just move them around a little bit. Excellent tweezer skills. Okay, and in goes some water, just enough to give you the steam in which you're going to cook them. And then once everything is cooked through, remember you need to be cooking that pork through thoroughly. It's just a question of taking out a portion. As I say, 3 is probably a good amount each. Arranging it on a beautiful plate, and this is one of many we brought back from Hong Kong. That was a heavy suitcase. And then serve with that beautiful dipping sauce. So let's watch the VW's chopstick skills, and these are Japanese chopsticks, slightly shorter than Chinese. Into the sauce, and then listen. That is the sound of joy. So, there you are. Gyoza. Enjoy.